Hello fellow Tamers, Digimon on the mic, and as you can see by the new fresh map, it's time to spread. And in this video we're going to be going over my first place Vault 14 tournament last week deck profile, and let me tell you, this boy put in work. I mean, he went in overtime and he came in with that big D red energy. I swear this boy was eating those checks for breakfast. So if this is the video for you as I break down my ratios, my tech, and what changes I'm going to apply to this deck to make it that little bit more spicier, then stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, then make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell, because I'm doing videos on the reg. Okay, let's go over to the ratios and the profile. DGX, I like these boys scrambled, and I'm going in with the 4 Demi-Meramon, which honestly, this is one that you want to be going into, making sure that your Ancient Grey is swinging for at least 14k DP, definitely crucial because that pretty much swings over most things. Then going on with the one-off Gurimon, absolutely great for adding that bit of search capability in the deck, which is fantastic because when attacking, once per turn, if this Digimon has 6000 DP or more, draw 1. This comes in clutch, especially if you just need to top deck that Omnimon foe game. So that's the eggs. Let's get to the rookies. For the rookies, I run 12. Starting off with the 4-ofs, we go in with the BT4 Flamemon. Really good searcher, absolutely key for you to get the maximum worth because you're able to reveal top 3 and you're able to get a hybrid and a red Tamer from amongst them. Absolutely fantastic, definitely a 4-off for sure. Then we go in with the BT8 Flamemon with the piercing inheritable. This is the one that you want to get in that raising because you want to go through the enemy, not slightly graze them. Then we go into the searcher, we go in with the 2 BT7 Flamemon. The reason why I actually reduced this down a little bit because we're not running Susan and we're only able to pick 1 hybrid or a Takuya out from the actual search. Granted, I can actually reveal top 4 if I want to go for a bit of a greater dig, but 9 times out of 10 my BT4 Flamemon's got it covered. But we do like the inheritable on this one. When it's deleted, you're able to play 1 Takuya from your hand without paying its memory cost, which is absolutely fantastic. Then lastly, we go in with the 2 Bokomon. So obviously, absolutely key, it can reveal that top 5 and you're able to actually get your Ancient Greymon, which is absolutely powerful. But in this meta, this boy is getting absolutely sniped. I tell you, if Ligimon is out on deck, this brother is getting suspended and getting his neck snapped. And let me tell you, oh man, the hospital bill is just getting too high for this boy to be covered under my policy. So, you know, we have to reduce him down to 2. So that is the rookies. Let's go over to the champs. Champions, we run 10. Starting off with the main chess piece is going to be your 4 Agunimon. This is an absolute staple, absolute must if you're running Red Hybrid, because this is key to the super aggression in or out of raising. Because if you're going to be using it out of raising, it means that you can essentially warp into Ancient Grey on turn 2 and at least get 3 checks popping off. If you're going to go in with some like Atomic Infernos as well, you could easily clear out their whole security on turn 2, which is absolutely scary for the cost of 2 memory. But you do have to delete Ancient Grey at the end of turn, but that's fantastic because Ancient Greymon actually has an awesome ability which enables him to play a level 4 or lower hybrid, which just keeps the combo going. But in this strategy, you do want to keep this boy in raising because it enables you to evo into your Ancient Grey for the cost of 3, which is beautiful. The main thing is obviously for us is getting Tai Kamiya out as early as possible. If you can proc it out in security, even better because you're just winning at that point. But having the nice condition of knowing that you're going to go into Ancient Grey and swing for all of their security is absolutely fantastic, unless you're versing Digimon such as like Mastimon or Red or Yellow Hybrid. They're the 2 matchups where most likely they may have higher security. It really does depend on, you know, if they've not bricked or anything. But this mon, definitely a 4-off for sure. Then we go into the next 4-off is going to be a Burning Greymon from BT7. Absolutely fantastic mon right here. awesome for that nice control, because it does enable you to, if you've evoed on top of a Takuya or a hybrid, you're able to delete a Digimon with 4000 DP or less, which is just great, especially in this meta, especially versing essentially Armor Rush. You can just literally pick off their VMons, which is great. But in raising, this is going to be good for you to evo on top of your Goonimon, because you can evo for the cost of 1, which essentially makes your Ancient Greymon stronger, because it enables him to get an additional security check, and also enables you to do a little bit more digging. Hopefully you can kind of get into your Aldemon, which is just an absolute powerhouse and a delicate plan on legs. So definitely another 4 of. Then for 2 of, we go into a Goonimon, because I mean, Goonie for game is always fantastic. Just getting that nice sweet condition if you do have a Tai Chimera out and you're already in Ancient Greymon in raising, you just draw out, you're like, I've won. Like, I've won. Unless you've got someone big in your security, it's GG, boys. So absolutely great to have this mon right here. Also, you can kind of go into your Burning Greymon if you do need to, but a Goonimon always comes clutch. And if you can't kind of get into your promo Goonie, at least this is another good mon to kind of go in with raising, because it is at an evo cost of 2. Versus if you have to go into Burning Greymon raw off top of a Flamemon, it's going to cost you 3. So that's the champs. Let's go over to the ultimates. Ultimates, we run 6. Pretty low, but gets the job done. Starting off with the main chess piece is going to be your 4 BT7 Aldemon. Honestly, BT8 still super strong. The reason why is because it's got a built-in delicate plan in its inheritable, so it makes Ancient Greymon pretty much just big D energy. He just swinging through that security like butter and not have to worry about any form of options that are procking off. No more Hammer Spark, no more Ice Wall, no more Mega Death, no more Hell Flame Scythe, none of that going off. And let me tell you, it is a fantastic feeling not dealing with any of that, especially when you've been playing with Armor Rush and you're just getting absolutely mugged off by the OP security. Really great just to have this mon, and I feel like it's just going to be absolutely timeless. There's no other Digimon that has this inheritable built in, so any further support that Red Hybrids get, this card will always be staple for sure. So main strat, always keep him in raising. Don't even bother bringing that out until you get Ancient Greymon, because you're not really getting the worth right there. If you do evo on top of Takuya, you are swinging pretty big, because it does grant himself an additional 4000 DP when digivolving, which is pretty sweet right there. That's obviously going to trigger the Takuya inheritable, getting that nice additional security check so he can swing big. But ideally, you want the inheritable being that delicate plan on legs. I tell you, really strong. Definitely a 4 of. Definitely do not go any less. Then, lastly, we're just rocking with a 2 BT4 Aldemon. Still spicy, still helps us enable us to get to Ancient Grey, but ideally you do not want to be getting this boy in your stack unless it's an absolute must, unless like the opponent's just kind of rushing you down. You're like, right, I've got to do something drastic. That's only when you're going to be choosing this over this. But actually using this mon in your Takuya stack is pretty nice, because it means that you're getting essentially 3 checks, which is pretty strong if you have the memory. And this deck is all about kind of stockpiling that memory for those big burst plays. So this actually did come pretty clutch in my last round, enabled me to be still hyper aggressive, especially after when my Ancient Greymon died. It meant that I could evo into this off of a level 4 or lower Digimon. So lucky enough, I was to pick up a, I think I put a promo Goonie off of Ancient Grey's effect, and then evoed into this for that nice bit of a pressure in the next round, which was really good. So I probably would switch this for Metal Greymon Altorius mode, just for that additional inheritable stack, and obviously be able to essentially do a little bit more digging for the cost of 1. And that's definitely something I'm going to test out in my next locals. But Aldemon's great because I are able to essentially search it via, you know, my Flamemons that I do have in this deck. So that's the ultimates. Let's go over to the megas. For the megas, it's 6, baby. Starting off with blam, Ancient Greymon running at 4. This mon is the win con. Is absolutely, if you get this mon in raising stacked up ready to go, you're going for that big check energy. You're just going straight in, cleaving through. Aldemon in the stack. You are absolutely laughing. If you do have, obviously, your Tamers out, get an additional security check. So you're just swinging for all the checks, which is beautiful. And that's pretty much this mon. It just swings big, 13k. You got Digimon in the source, 14k. You're swinging over most things. If you do want to kind of mix up the eggs, you could run Babadooby-Dooby-Dooby-Dooby-Doomon. I can't quite pronounce the name. The baby dragon thing. You could be running that and do have the piercing Flamemon in there. That means that this mon is swinging at 15, which is going to be pretty big. Enable you to just kind of assure you going through and not hard crashing into anything. But it's completely up to you. You could also run the what's that brother's name? Forgot his name. Gabamon's Tamer Hero. There we go. We remembered it in the end. Could be running him. That gives a nice 2000 DP there as well. The options are yours. Then, lastly, it's going to be your 2 Omni for games as well. This card right here, it can be used in 2 different ways. Obviously, getting game, which is the main thing. Or if you're going with a different approach of using Promo Gooni's effect in order to warp into Ancient Grey and it's still your turn, then you could evo into this and get a few more additional checks in and actually prevents the on-deletion, which is fantastic. Then if the opponent's like, oh snap, I need to kind of get this mon out of the field, because I mean a 14k beat stick on turn 2 is pretty big if you do have this set up, and they may throw in a mega death or something. With this actual all turns, you're able to essentially discard one of your level 6s to negate the bounce, which is sweet, or an opponent's effect that would delete them. So it really does help kind of keep that nice aggression, and it makes you a bit of a sticky body right there, similar to Armors but not quite the same premise, but very deadly. Definitely gives you options, but having Omnimon for game or Hybrid for game, your win condition is pretty freaking sweet right there. So that's all to it. It's literally all to it. Build big, swing big, leave the table big, and you're all good. So that is the megas. Let's go over to the Tamer and options. For Tamer and options, we're on 16 in the deck. Starting off with the Tamers, we're gonna have to go in plain simple. Tamers, we know what this boy does. He absolutely steals your money because, God, we need a reprint of this boy. I tell you, absolute staple in terms of red decks, because it enables you to, you know, get an additional security check if you've got 4 or more Digivolution cards in the source, which is fantastic. And then he's a memory setter, so, you know, guarantee that you're going to be going to 3 at the end of the opponent's turn, which is also great. Just shows that, you know, you get memory choked, and we don't want memory choking in this deck at all, because it rapidly slows down us trying to build our big ass stack in raising. Then we run the 3 Takuyas. Takuya is great, just enables you to obviously get kind of burning Greymon or your Agunimon, which enables you to go to kind of Aldermon and all that good stuff, which is sweet. I think I might change the ratios in terms of this and actually adding a few heroes instead, because I feel like it probably would help a little bit more than the Takuya. But just having a nice 3 cost Tamer is pretty sweet. just enables you to kind of choke the opponent a bit more than obviously having like a ton of 4 costs, because you know, cost 4 Tamers can be a bit much, especially if you're in red and there's no way to kind of manipulate the memory outside of, you know, your red memory boost or graph crush, which is not really helping in this situation whatsoever. So I do run currently 3 Takuyas, did come pretty nice in the tournament last Tuesday. Then over to the options, we do run the 3 red memory boosts. Really helpful, because it just stockpiles the memory for those big burst plays, enable you to obviously get into your big boy quicker and assuring that you've got the pieces, because you can reveal top 4 and pick 1 red Digimon from a monster, which is great, and then delay effect, you're able to gain 2 memory if you pop it. So really good, absolutely key, great. Even seeing them in security, because it's like, great, you give me additional 2 memory and I've got a Tamers out, so I'm sitting at 5, so I'm pretty cushy even if I don't have promo Gunimon in the stack. So all good on that. I feel like you could get away with 2, but I like seeing this card in hand. You can't go wrong when searching for your core pieces. Then I run the 2 Atomic Infernos just for more assurance, especially when if it's kind of proxy security, which it did happen and did help massively when I didn't have Tamers out, enabled me to obviously still swing for a nice 5 check, which is always great. And depending on obviously your board state, you know, just all your Digimon gains go attack +1 is beautiful. Then obviously on your main, you know, nice additional 3 KDP is always sweet with the actual security check. And then if the opponent blocks you, you're able to get 3 memory back. So actually pretty good facing off with Armor Rush. If they're gonna block with Magamon, it's like, great, give me that 3 memory, give me that 3 memory back, baby. It's all sweet. So it leaves them with a kind of an awkward situation of like, do I block or do I let it go through? You know, it is still pretty good. You could probably get away with not having it in, just because of the playstyle of this deck is going for more that OTK style than kind of doing the chip damage. But I always find it still quite nice to still run Atomic Inferno. Really good if it just proc off in security. Then tech, we're running the 1 Rowdy Rocker. Absolutely fantastic in this deck. Great for that search and also enabling you to get additional checks on your Ancient Grey, because you are able to place 1 level 4 or lower Digimon, red Digimon, from your hand underneath, well, basically at the bottom of your main mon that you've got out, or whoever you've got out, which is great. And if you do that, you're able to draw 2. So one thing I did do with this particular play was place my promo Goonie underneath my my stack, because unfortunately I didn't have them at the time, so enabled me to essentially get my Agunimon play and reducing the cost on Ancient Grey, which is beautiful. And then it obviously gives me a nice additional check on top of that, which is banging due to Ancient Greymon's effect of additional checks per hybrid or Greymon Digimon in its source. Beautiful. When I did run it at 2, it felt a little bit bricky, because I felt like I was just kind of wasting resource. Because ideally you want to be playing this right at the end, not necessarily on a stack that's out ready to get Mega Deft or any form of option knocked off the field. So running at 1 just came nice and clutch for me. If it's in security, adds it to hand. If I don't see it, no harm done. Then for removal, we do run the 1 Atomic Blaster. Absolutely fantastic card. Just removing 8k or less and able to essentially pop any amount if it amounts up to 8k. Really helps just kind of removing Pyeldramon off board, which is good, because you don't want that monster on the board, especially with his multi-checking ability, just absolutely clapping your cheeks when it's swinging so many times. Really annoying card. You can tell I love it. So yeah, definitely one of the Atomic Blaster, one of the Crimson Blaze, really good, just kind of that nice flat board clear of 6,000 DP or less. really good, especially if you're listening, like say like Armor Rush, if they're kind of built out on the VMons, blam, throw this out. It actually reduces the cost as well. Really good if you're kind of facing off with your Master Mons, because most of their Mons are 6 KDP. That's the whole shtick when it's using Flame Health Scythe. So just able to kind of play Crimson Blaze and then preventing them from, you know, playing Digimon by card effects until the end of their next turn is always splendor. So definitely good stuff of Crimson Blaze. And then lastly, we still gotta run the Guy Force. We gotta have that just big boy removal just in case. Just in case. You never know who you might face, especially for like, you know, kind of X antibody. You know, they go big. They go big, so you need a bit of Guy Force in your life just to make sure they're staying in line. But that is the deck profile. Let's talk about the deck and the changes that I may want to apply for future tournaments. There you have it, guys. My deck profile that won me the locals on Tuesday at Vault 14. So the question is, what did I think to the deck? What changes would I make to the deck for future tournaments? So I'm impressed of how the deck performed. Like, in terms of me finding the pieces effectively, was sweet. And I felt like Red Memory Boost helped massively, just kind of get out of those unbricky situations. I didn't feel like I struggled finding out the Aldermon, even though technically I'm only running 6 ultimates. I didn't feel like I was kind of capped finding the core pieces that I needed. There was a few issues when I was looking out for my Ancient Grey. Definitely, I think that's probably the hardest mon to find, and it's the reason why I kind of ups the Red Memory Boost in order for me to kind of search out for that and just make sure that I have enough memory to kind of get into it, especially if I don't have my Tide Chimeras out. So definitely helped, but yeah, I think that one of the issues were just kind of finding the Ancient Grey. Had everything all set up and raising, but just finding the main chess piece to kind of go for that cleave didn't help. I think when you're kind of facing off against other OTK style decks, that's definitely a bit of a nail biter. I'm not going to lie. There was definitely a match where basically we were just waiting for our pieces and who could swing bigger. That was literally it. And obviously with Ancient Greymon, like the actual, you know, the main condition of this is just how big can you build the stack. I mean, if I literally have my Tide Chimera out and my hybrids as a traditional stack in terms of, like, you know, rookie, champion, ultimate, boom, Ancient Grey, is 5 checks guaranteed. I could actually expand on that if I wanted to essentially put in like an additional Burning Greymon on top of my Goonimon, which just makes sure that, you know, I don't necessarily need Tide Chimera to get that additional skirt check, because I kind of got it covered, which is very nice. I think one of the things that I do worry, and one of the things that I may try out, is obviously having the Metal Greymon Arterius mode, just for that inheritable, and obviously having the option to kind of keep building on top of my level 5, which is sweet. I think that will come pretty clutch. My only concern is that I won't be able to search for that particular card off of a hybrid search. But it's the risk I've got to take. I mean, if I'm only going to be switching out 2, I don't think it'd be that much of an issue. It wasn't essentially the main win condition, but it would be nice just to ensure that I'm getting an additional 2k off an inheritable and also an additional security check on top of that there as well, which is, you know, it's always great to get that when you are using this style of deck and just that OTK presence. Rowdy Rocker is quite an interesting one. I felt like it was definitely useful just to kind of get that additional draw. Kind of drawing into Omnimon off of this is so much value, really sweet, and it means that you're not bottom decking anything. Though I did find when I did run it at 2, I felt like I had it just at the wrong times, but that could literally just be, you know, just RNG in the nutshell. You know, I'm not always going to get the cards at the right times. It is what it is, but having the kind of essentially the 1, if it is in security, you know, triggering its security ability, just add it to my hand, it just means that I can, you know, somewhat use it depending on obviously the game state. Whereas, you know, if I did reduce like Atomic Inferno, I mean, it's such a powerful effect of just all your Digimon just gain a flat security attack plus 1 is just huge. It's just absolutely huge. And I felt like I just always had this in hand when I needed it. And it's never really a time when you're like, oh god, I wish I didn't have Atomic Inferno. Like, it's just never. It's always a delight seeing this, then kind of seeing this where it's really tied to what have I got out on field, or if I can risk taking my Mon out of raising in order to play Rowdy Rocker to get another red Digimon level 4 lower underneath its source, to kind of clutch maybe a top draw Ancient Greymon. That's the only thing. So I think I may still keep these ratios. It was nice. I didn't feel like Rowdy Rocker made a massive impact, but it definitely was helpful when it did turn up. Over to the kind of the Tamer ratios, I feel like Hero could be pretty sick in this deck. So I could essentially just take out one Takuya, run Takuya at 2, and then have just a Hero there at 1. Just because I feel like Hero is quite nice to just kind of give him that nice boost, which is great. And also enables me to have another Tamer that is also going to memory set me, ensuring that I'm not going to get choked, which is also fantastic. So I feel like that could definitely work out pretty nice. Obviously, drop a comment in the box, let me know what you think. But I still do appreciate having Takuya more for the memory efficiency or the play cost efficiency, and just enabling me to kind of use my Burning Greymon just to essentially still control the field, which is definitely nice. And also I still do run BT7 Flamemon, which I'll be able to play this Tamer for free. In terms of my matchups, so it was 4 rounds of Swiss, and the first round was Imp, which was not bad at all. I felt like I had my pieces quicker than they had theirs, which was good for me. It felt like I could really just kind of control the board and just have the right pieces to kind of deal with their board, which was nice. The next matchup was Black War Greymon, which was definitely tense. I absolutely got bodied the first round just due to the pure aggression of what they had going on, which was really impressive. And then I kind of got my swing back on the second round. That's when I just got my pieces, able to just kind of OTK pretty successfully. And then the same again, rinse and repeat. It was pretty much just who could OTK first, and lucky enough I just, with Ancient Grey, the only thing that could have outed me at that point was their Omnimon. That was literally it. So it would just be a simple hard crash because I did have my Demi Merimon in the source. So yeah, that was definitely a nail biter. Next round was Armor Rush. Armor Rush was actually interesting because the thing that actually halts this deck is that Magnamon. Even if I swing into it with piercing, it can prevent deletion and the piercing effect won't work. So it was a matter of kind of being patient. I was had to wait till they actually swung in with Magnamon in order for me to go in and just swing for all that security. Very tense round. It was 2-1. And I managed to just kind of clutch it, which was good. Very tense match. Then the last match was versus my good friend Adank in the finals. Very tense. It was so close. Both games, but I did manage to 2-0. First round was just the standard Ancient Grey, big D red energy, just straight in there through the security. It was a spicy security as well. Like, you know, we did have the Hammer Sparks, we did have the Ice Wall, but due to Aldermon's inheritable, nothing. They just can't be activated. So it was just nice, and I managed to Omni for game on top of that. The next round was definitely a tense one, and a slight misplay on my half was essentially crashing into their Imperial Dragon mode, but then because I had piercing, I was at 13k and I crashed into fighter mode, is also at 13k, which was the kicker, because that really just kind of dragged out the game a little bit more. And it was just really tense. But I must admit, this is where Aldemon actually came in clutch due to the additional security check, just to kind of keep on that pressure, which was definitely needed, and just didn't really I think out of it all, I think it came down to just not having the right cards and a Digimon dying to my security. And it was a Goonimon. It was 5 for 5, and ideally needed that alive to kind of do a DNA play. So it was a very, very close game. It was anyone's match right there, but absolutely fantastic. We both won the same amount of prizes, so it was all good. It was all good. But it was him who actually told me to play Red Hybrid. He was like, "Get your Red Hybrid deck out, Dread," and I was like, "Okay, let's go get it. Let's see what goes." Because I did have this deck kind of prepped, ready in the wings, but I was just a bit like, a bit apprehensive if I want to kind of play it. But I fell back in love with the deck once more. Absolutely enjoy what it does. I feel like it just works really well. Ratios were solid, plays were sweet. Really like the build. But yeah, let me know what you think, guys, because your brother is done. If you enjoyed the deck profile, drop me a like as standard. Let me know what you think. Tell me what you are running in this format, what you're looking forward to in EX2. Unfortunately, UK, we ain't got it yet. It's delayed as standard, which is always nice. But to be honest, it is our first time actually being delayed. But I really, yeah, I'm kind of just seeing everyone else having fun, and we're just still in BT8, which, you know, it's not a bad BT. It's been a fun BT. But guys, stay safe, stay fly, and that's Digidread off the mic.